Tucker, why
awesome.
wasn't there a jerkbait in there?
Oh.
Did you only do 4?
Shit.
I know. I thought you might only did 4.
Hit 5.
You know what? Hey, everybody, welcome back. We forgot one. We did a top 4 on accident.
Fishbowl Gooder with Tim and Dave. I'm wearing a different shirt.
Oh, you make it look different. So now it just looks like we're scumbags and wear the same clothes on all of it.
Wearing the same thing we talked to you last time, man. Yeah. Is that right?
7 days later, and we're all wearing the same clothes. Yeah. All right. So, hey, everybody. We're back. We got Cheers. Ryan with us from Catching Leadership. He's going to go through his top 5 lures. And so just to set the playing field set up, are these top 5 of all time? Top 5 of current? What was your selection based on for top 5?
So it's a mix. It's a great question. It's a mix of top 5 of what I would want to go throw and catch a fish on, and top 5 that.
Oh my God, I'm worthless. Thank you, Tim.
I think I can go get a bite on.
All right, hey, let's kick it off the right way with the top 5. Here's a cheers.
Cheers, boys.
I tried to be subtle, Dave. Didn't work.
It didn't work because you're so far away. You got alligator arms. Anyway, my top 1 right now. It's not even alcohol, dude. This I gotta block the light a little bit. The low calorie root beer from Menards, greatest dang drink in the world. Swear to God, best root beer float you'll ever have. That's my top 1 right now on Soda Pop today.
It's amazing.
But all right. So, do you want to start 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or do you want to go full bore? This is the number 1.
I don't have a top 5 in terms of 5 through 1. This is just going to be my 5.
These are your top 5. Okay.
My 5.
Sweet.
This is my 5 that I want to go catch fish on, but I also have the most confidence.
Deal. All right, Let's roll. What's the first one you got for us?
No question. Okay, you ready? That is your jig. Half-ounce jig. Okay. Yep. And so
Rage tail?
That is a rage tail. That's KVD. Okay.
And straight.
And I did paint the tails with a little bit of chartreuse on there, which if you're not doing it, do it. So
our spirit animals might be cousins.
I know that you have some bluegill up there. And so when the bluegill start getting up there, get that. Now, this time of year, you might want to put a little orange on there just because the crawdads are coming out.
Dave and I's go-to for the past probably 8 years has been the KVD.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that has been our go-to. Like, 1 year we did really well with it. And we're like, this is the best thing in the world.
Yep.
This is what we should throw all the time.
Menace Grub. Yeah. The Menace Grub is a trailer. This is the Menace. And
all right.
You either put that on a wobblehead or just put it as a jig trailer. Now, I'm not going to go into depth, but I tie my own jigs. So this is one of my hand-tied jigs. Okay. And this has
that's
Andy's
awesome.
custom old school rubber on it. And so I hand tie them. So I made up about 100 of these for the guys that came from Iowa, but this is my go-to.
That's awesome.
So
that's got to feel good. Catching a fish on something
and you guys will get. I'm going to send a few out your guys' way. The books are on their way, but I've got your addresses, so I'm going to send a few your way.
Deal.
But I need fish in pictures with them because it's just so cool to tie them, catch them, and hear guys that really love them. So,
hey, David, that's a big deal because he hasn't sent me any yet. So you guys will get his hand-tied jigs before me. So
from the boss,
totally jelly over here, Tucker.
Number two.
Let's see it.
This was tough, but it's a fish catcher. Okay. This is your chatterbait, half-ounce chatterbait. Okay.
Right on.
I've got a little split tail trailer on it. Guys that are throwing chatterbaits now, this is your jackhammer. It costs a little bit more. I can tell you that it does move differently and it has a hunting action to it. Do not put a big, huge trailer on this. That's a swim bait trailer. Get something that's skinny, that doesn't push a lot of water, and that thing will dart. And that's what causes this bait to get bit more than any other chatterbait out there, is that hunting action. It's just like any crankbait that hunts. You need that erratic action, and that's what's going to trigger that strike.
Okay, I have a question.
Ryan, I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah.
I don't throw chatterbaits.
Okay.
Big reason. No idea how to throw them. So on the retrieval, how are you doing that? Are you just reeling it in?
Do you have grass in the lake?
Huh?
Do you have grass?
A lot of the ponds I find fish, yes, there's a ton of grass and weeds.
So you fish that over the top of grass and let that bait get hung up a little bit in the top of that grass and rip it out, which means you need a little bit of a heavier rod, a little bit heavier line, but you want that bait to kind of tick the top of that grass and then pop out. And that bait, it almost acts like a mixture between a spinnerbait and a crankbait, but you want that to pop out. And as soon as that thing pops out, it causes a reaction strike. It is, if you watch any of the professional tournaments, this bait catches predominantly a lot of fish, especially in the spring and early summer. This bait is a killer. And I had to put it in front of a spinnerbait because ultimately, like when you're fishing shallow water, you can skip docks with it, a lot of things with it where you don't have those big blades.
Yep.
It's a killer.
All I know,
and
all I know is if Z-Man goes up in 2% in profit, it's because I have lost so many of those and hung them up and snagged them on things. So Mr. Z-Man, you're welcome. I love throwing those things, never get anything on them, but I always tie them on and throw them and lose them usually the same day.
One last thing on this. Be very careful throwing this around wood.
Every time. Yeah. So I get hung up on.
So what happens is the hook rolls over. Every time. Okay.
And then you go to jerk it to pop it out.
And it sticks in. So it's different than a spinnerbait. So when you throw it around wood, it can hang very easily. So I feel that this is a open water, but more importantly, if you have grass, throw it open water grass. And this is your bait. Okay. Outside of a rattle trap.
If we were friends a year ago, you probably would have saved me $150.
But don't be afraid to throw it. But if you're throwing around a bunch of lay down wood, pick up that spinnerbait and do the same thing. Put the chatterbait down.
Okay.
That's a good tip. I didn't know that, tip. Tucker, so thank you.
Number 3.
Third one, this is because I've fallen in love with it and spent thousands of dollars on it. I'm going with, you guys see that?
Oh.
The
glide bait.
Okay.
There it is. I've not thrown one. They are extremely intimidating to me. Don't know if I even have a rod that can handle it, but part of me wants to go open up a new credit line with 24 months of zero interest and buy all of them.
Dave's rod can't handle much.
So this is a clutch glide bait. Made by Clutch Baits. Michael has one in the background, I think. Melrose, his beautiful daughter, plays with it, which is awesome. Clutch Glide Baits is from Kansas City. It's a company that was started by Josh Pallades, who I've become friends with. And it was one of those random, hey, I reached out to him on Instagram, just kind of like I did with you guys. Didn't know him, but wanted to learn more about it. He started a business, and I bought a couple of his baits, and we struck up a really nice friendship. And so this is a bait that I've gotten to learn over the last couple of years, and it is an addiction that I really can't describe. That bait is unbelievable. All the glide baits I have clutches. I've got them. I mean, I've done all the searches. I've gone on all the drops, all those things. But this bait really excels in that fall time frame into late fall into early spring as the water temperatures around that 50 degrees when they start getting on the big baits. But do not be afraid to throw these, because I promise you, if you don't have gizzard shad and if you don't feel like you have gizzard shad, or they're eating crappie and bluegill in all of your lakes. So a lot of the guys I talk to up north are like, well, we don't have big gizzard shad. Doesn't matter. Those fish are not just eating small little pin minnows and crawdads.
Oh,
They are eating bluegills, they're eating, crappies. And so you do have to get outfitted for it, but it takes one rod, one reel, and a couple baits. So you don't have to go crazy on it. But when you get a chance to have that bite, it's amazing. So that's a clutch.
Beautiful.
It calls it the OG. And I'll send you a link. It's a great bait.
Awesome.
Last one. Right. This isn't gonna shock anybody, but when you want to go get a bite and you want to go catch fish,
I was wondering if you were gonna do it. I didn't think you would, Tucker. I didn't think you'd go there.
They don't fail. They don't
the,
fail.
The Senko, Yamamoto Senko, whether you do it Texas rig, whether you do it wacky rigged, it doesn't matter. If you need to go get a bite and it catches big fish, go throw that around. And that is for everybody. I have a 12-year-old daughter. I threw a Senko on. Like, I throw it around all the time. But at the end of the day, I was sitting out, and this is what was really hard to bow. As you noticed, I did not have a topwater, and that killed me. But I could not put a Senko on here. Like, it's just
right.
You just from a fish catching standpoint, I wouldn't be truthful to myself. And at the end of the day, I had to put that in there. Now, this is number 6 because we need to get
number
moving
6.
along.
So if people listening, number 6 is the lure that you hate, you keep tying on to use because whatever reason, you can never catch a fish on it. And it doesn't mean it's a bad lure. Your buddy, your best friend it could be their PB lure. And for whatever reason, you have not been blessed to use the lure, but you keep tying it on. So, all right. So what's your number 6? Oh, the suspense is killing me.
This is a Hinkle shad.
Okay.
And if you look up Hinkle shads, they're almost impossible to get. This one cost me $800.
Oh God, that would kill me.
What?
This pains me to say this because this is my most prized possession I've ever bought, and I bought 2 of them. Oh, and it is the most beautiful swimming thing, but I've not caught anything on it, and I'm very afraid of throwing it.
I was going to say, I'd be nervous to lose it.
I would never catch anything on it because I would never throw it.
Yeah, but I do throw it, and I threw it down at Lake of the Ozarks, and I've thrown it. And trust me, I say this tongue in cheek, but you said, what is that one lure? And I'm like, man, I look up on the wall of glide baits I have, and I look at the amount of cost, and I'm like, I've not caught a fish on this. Right? And I will at some point, but it frustrates me. And it's funny because I've got a buddy that makes glide baits, and they're still, $150 to $200 a piece. Not cheap.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm sitting here with a Hinkle, and there's a lot of people out there that would die to have a Hinkle. And I've got a couple of them, and I've not caught anything on them. So it's probably more user error than anything, but I had to bring that one up when you said we could have 6. So there's my top 5 and there's my 6 boys.
Oh man, that was my heart sank when you said $800. I don't think I'd ever throw it.
Ryan, Trace, the guy who talks about the fuzzy dice.
Yeah.
He's making glide baits now. So if you're going to go down there and look at Lightning Strike lures, he has glides.
So I'm going to, and I would appreciate like a connection with Trace because first of all, and not to go too far in depth, but I love that video. The fact that him and his son was on there with you guys, and that's how I got to know you guys. And for some reason, it dialed it up on my TV, and I watched it. And I went to, and we talked about it. I went to Hobby Lobby, and we did the whole thing. Seems like a really cool guy, and to have his son involved in it,
salt of the earth.
Yeah,
such a good dude.
And he paints really good stuff. Like his stuff that he paints is phenomenal.
So far in 2023, I've caught 2 largemouth, both of them on his lures.
On his stuff, yeah, good.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, no joke. I've gone out 3 times. I'm 3 for 3 right now, and it is all on Lightning Strike lures. I'm not even kidding. we're not paid to say it either. We bought these lures. We didn't get them for free. It was he threw us a couple extras to try out. So that's a stretch. You don't want to be a liar. But we bought some, and he threw a couple in there. Just be like, hey, try these out. Let me know what you think. But we not paid to say it. Those are 3 for 3 on lightning strike lures.
That's awesome.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah. I'll meet him.
We'll get you connected
point. For sure.
Yeah, we'll get you connected.
All right, I'm done on the bass side because
you're done.
Before Michael takes over, I'm more interested in this because I'm trying to learn this part of the game. I'm afraid of I'm fearful of the cost of it, but I need to get better on the side. So I'm excited about what Michael's got.
Beautiful.
Wait, you're fearful of the cost of it?
I am.
As you drop,
you can just sell the one glide bait, and you're in the game, man.
Well, hold on. This is an addiction. This is why I haven't gotten into fly fishing because I know it can be more expensive, and I can't say no. I literally had the hookup tackle send an Instagram message out to the world about some rod that's a Megabass, white python, and it was going to be half off. And I had no business buying it. What happened? I sent him a message and I bought it, and it's on its way. Like,
oh my God.
So fly fishing could be way worse for me.
Oh my God. All right. Hey, give me a cheers on your top 5.
Let's get a cheers.
Give me a cheers on your top 5. Stay tuned because we're coming back with Michael's top 5 fly fishing.
Love it.
Fish more gooder.
That was good. Tucker, why wasn't there a jerkbait in there?
Oh.
Did you only do 4? I know. I thought you might only did 4.
Hit 5.
You know what? Hey, everybody. Welcome back. We forgot one. We did a top 4 on accident.
So I'm going to unbox this one, and you can't find this color. It's really hard to find, and I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for probably sharing this color, but you know what? We're all boys. So
let's see it.
Ooh.
Bring it in a little closer. Ooh.
Is it a smoke? What is it?
Oh, does it have a purple head and red eyes?
Yeah.
Oh, with the blue on top?
So this is
That's awesome looking.
Megabass Vision 110 Nanko reaction. I'm in so much trouble for this. But anyway, this color is the color. It is a special... you just can't get your hands on it unless you go eBay hunting or special places have it. There's a guy that's been up in Canada that's had them. I found out about this color a couple years ago when a guy in the back of my boat was telling me about it and then caught everything and I caught nothing. And I was trying to throw every jerkbait in the box. And I'm like, does it really mean that much different? Does it make that much difference? It does. So I scoured the internet, and they go for about $90 to $100.
Oh
my! Have you thrown that?
Remember when he said he was nervous about the price of getting into fly fishing?
I have. I bought 8 of them.
Good God!
I bought 8 of them, and so I lost. Here about a month ago, I lost 2 in one trip, and it was a very sad day. I casted one off and then I got snagged on another one. But anyway, the jerkbait to me is, and it doesn't matter. Let's be honest. Like the color does matter at times. But if you would have asked me 10 years ago, the jerkbait wouldn't have been in my, unless it was in the winter. But if you're in the fall time frame, late fall, winter, early spring, it is such a versatile bait. And it's a really good bait to throw behind somebody or in front of somebody that's throwing maybe a spinner bait, and you just mix up the cadence. These Vision 110s are meant to slowly rise in the water, so they're not a true suspending, even though they say suspending. So I put lead wire on them to get them to slowly sink in the wintertime, just real slow. But as the springtime happens, you want that slight rise to go up as those fish are starting to get a little bit more shallow. And they are more shallow up towards the bank. So I think the jerkbait is, it's a top choice for me just year round. I won't throw it in the summer, but more around that fall through the early spring time frame. But I have to have it in the arsenal. And plus, last thing I say is I have live scope. And so with live scope, It's a live scope bait, and you can do that bait, position that bait in front of those fish year round. And so if anybody's familiar with live scope, it's a must have.
I'll just throw Dave in the water with goggles.
Doesn't sound terrible. Doesn't sound terrible.
But I will ask, because I do have to ask, because Dave and I are fairly new to jerk baits. We use a lot of swim jigs in our past, the Texas rig, that's what we've used. And we're still learning how to fish with them.
Yeah.
We're sitting there like, how do we go jerk one way, let it sit, real fast, crank? Like, what do we, as far as how to, mess with it?
Tim, you can ask him the right question. How does Tim jerk it better?
How do you jerk it better? Listen, the biggest thing on a jerk bait is don't overwork it, right?
Yeah.
So you always want to jerk it on slack line. So have you ever fished a spook before?
Yes.
Top water spook, walking the dog?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that thing underneath the water. So you don't want to do it on tight line because you'll lose all the movement of that bait. So make sure that you're hitting that. So you've got slack line and you're hitting it, and it will dart underneath the water. If you're trying to reel into it and jerk it at the same time, you're going to lose all of that momentum. It's going to act like a crankbait, which isn't the purpose of that jerk bait. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so there's your top 5. Give me a cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
Sorry, boys, but that was the most important one.
Heck yeah.
Fish Gooder with Tim and Dave. Ow.